You're watching the Convo. My name is Grant McPherson. My guest this week is Maya Williams. Maya, thank you so much for being on the program.
It's okay, get over your calling it a program. Thank you for having me.
It's a program.
Appreciate it. We out here. It's
All
a
right.
program.
Maya is one of the hardest working people in Portland today. Just 1 week ago, she received her Master's in Social Work and Certificate in Applied Arts and Social Justice from the University of New England. She's competed as a slam poet since her freshman year of college at East Carolina University and placed in the top 20 at College Union's Poetry Slam Invitational in 2015. And this year was a finalist for the Manchester, New Hampshire Slam Free or Die National Poetry Slam team. And amongst the slew of her other jobs and responsibilities throughout Portland, Maine, she can be heard performing her own work most Tuesday nights, at Port Veritas Open Mic, 8 p.m. at Feeney's.
3754 Street. And O-R-E Street.
Wow, you even have the address.
I do! Because people ask me, like, where is that again? So I've memorized the address at this point.
Wow. So what did you think of the intro? Was it embellished enough?
It was great, thank you. It's like oh, all these nice things, especially the first part. It's like, oh, that's nice.
I think it's true. And also I stole most of it from the bio on her website.
Yes, I've noticed that as well. but especially the first part where it's like, oh, that's kind. You see me, it's hardworking. I do work really hard.
Can you tell us a little bit about the cup that you chose?
Yes, at first I was gonna choose this like tall peace sign mug because Naomi from last episode got it, and it's also a very nice mug, and I very much related to her as she was talking about like arts and youth, and like even though she focuses more on visual art, it was so nice to like hear so many things that I agreed with as far as like youth work and art. So at first I was gonna choose that one, but I was like, no, I want to make sure that it's different from all the other ones so that things don't repeat itself. So I picked this colorful one with water in it, so there's no tea in it. I'm an imposer.
Most people are
I'm an
drinking
imposter.
water.
That's the correct word.
We're never drinking tea. Actually, except Rudy. Rudy was the only person
one
to drink something
okay.
else. And also, if you had chosen that mug too, that would have been totally okay. I'll have to find out the origin of that mug. I think it's my sister's.
Nice.
I don't own anything.
Do you own this one?
I actually stole that.
Where'd you steal it from?
It's actually from Australia.
Oh, okay.
I think I was at like a cafe
That's
and it
nice.
was like one of my last weeks or two. Stealing is not cool. It's really...
No, it's not. But
really
it makes
not
for a
cool.
funny story, but
Yeah.
no, it's ethically it's not cool.
No. But like now it's so pretty. Nothing I say will justify it. So Maya has been kind enough to share some of her own work. As I said, she's competed all over the place. She shares weekly, not just at Feeney's, but I mean, if we had to go down the list of all the places she's performed, we'd be here. That would be the full half an hour.
Okay, now I think you're over exaggerating.
All right, I'll tone it down.
You're making it seem as if like I'm booking regularly. No, I was in school full time, 9/10 on working full time. Like kudos to those who are able to be a poet full time though. That's awesome.
Well, with that being said, the floor is yours.
All right, just gonna share a short one. A very, very short one. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, like there's this hype of like, oh, she's competed in things, and like, but this is one of like the smaller ones of like the not the one in your face type of ones, but I consider it nice, so I'm gonna read it anyway. Her son gives her these tiny pink and purple flowers. They're floating in a mug printed with pink and purple flowers, filled with more water than the plants need. She smiles so wide, her false teeth gleaming from the sunlight free enough to break its way through the window. Her smile is the first sight of spring.
That was lovely. I'll do the snaps.
Snaps are wonderful.
Can you share a little bit about like what inspired that, or?
Yeah. This is for someone that I work for on the weekends when I'm not in school. Well, I'm not in school now because I graduated. But on the weekends, I'm a caregiver for someone, and I've written her a poem before and gave it to her as a gift. But yeah, I don't think I'll give this to her anytime soon, or maybe I will, since I know that I leave my caregiver position for a full-time position in August. But yeah, we'll see.
That's so nice. I think giving someone a poem that you wrote for them is like a really beautiful and kind gesture. I'm curious, is there ever been someone who's had a reaction to like a poem that you've given to them that stands out or surprised you, or I'm just curious.
The best reaction. Oh my god. Someone gave me a hug right after, because like normally folks are like, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me," or they say, or if it's a family member, they might say something like, "I don't act like that," and I'm like, "It's a nice quirk, and I wanted to write it in the poem for you." But like the best reaction that I got was like immediately getting a hug. No, wait, hugs are great, but like actually, I wrote a poem. For Sean King, after his blog post about growing up mixed race and how that got him involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, and how being of mixed race, people have been critical about him in the Black Lives Matter movement, and by people I mean like more conservative leaning, like Breitbart News Network type people, and how he wrote a blog post about his life and sort of in response to that. And I tweeted at him, and then he tweeted me back saying, "Thanks, friend," and I'm like,
yo, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's such a nice Twitter story. Usually Twitter stories don't go that well, but it is pretty crazy though if there's someone out there who you like follow and
Mm-hmm.
like they have a following themselves, like they can just see your.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So that made me happy, and I like shared it on Facebook too because I'm like, this happened today.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, social media comes up all the time, like in. I feel like on these episodes, partly because that's how these are shared and whatnot, and yeah, it's just bizarre because I like saw like videos of you and your family like at Muse Paint Bar.
Yeah, we had such a great time.
And I was like, yeah, you were singing the remix to Ignition.
Because they were playing that. We were in the paint bar. It was my first time being there, and it was obviously my family's first time being there because it was their first time in Maine, with the exception of my stepmom. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad they had a great time while they were here.
It's just so bizarre getting glimpses into like portions of other people's lives that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing you use social media more since starting this. And I'm like, oh, look who's back.
Totally called out. I had deleted Twitter, I deleted Instagram, but I'm like, oh, I gotta share these somehow. Can I tell you something?
Oh, what?
My videos have not received one like on Twitter.
Aww.
It's ridiculous. I don't know if you're out there on Twitter, maybe give me a pity follow now. I don't know.
I follow you on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Well, like my videos? No, I'm just kidding.
I thought I have been liking your videos. I've watched every one.
They get love on Instagram and Facebook, but yeah, we'll have to figure out Twitter. So, anyways,
Twitter's a whole different sphere of things. Yeah, Twitter's a very interesting platform because on Facebook it's a lot of like sharing things, especially like positive jovial things, and then on Instagram again there's a similar thing. But on Twitter, oh my goodness, I've shared a mix of happy things, but also there have been things where they've just been rants, and I've learned how much like how Twitter has been a form of venting online that's different from other sites. And sharing my poetry site on Twitter is very different from like Instagram and Facebook as well. As far as like not as many people following the website on Twitter, but at the same time like receiving direct messages about it.
So it's working out for you. Teach me.
I can't teach you. No. I am no expert.
It's a weird world to navigate, but coming back a little bit to sort of the poem that you read, I asked Naomi a little bit about kind of her process, and as a writer, I always struggle with finding the time, and a lot of it just happens like before bed because I'm like I have a journal right next to my bed. But I wanted to hear from you, like, is there a time that you like sit down and you're like, now I write? Or is it just like, okay, I have 10 minutes, like,
it's like
gonna squeak a poem out, you know?
Because someone else asked me this question recently too, and I just simply said like when I'm not busy, like like if I happen to have like 10 minutes to myself or have an hour to myself, just when I'm not busy. Like, I have no set time, whether or not for the evening or morning. There's no preference there. Just whenever I find free time where I can write poems or write journal entries. And it's been interesting how like those journal entries have like transitioned into like writing prayers as a form of like journal entries. So I've been doing that for the past few years. So finding time to do that. I've been very bad about it for the past couple of weeks because of like graduation and things getting so busy, and like things are winding down, but at the same time, I don't want to spend all summer watching Netflix in my room. So reaching out to folks in the New England area, setting up poetry workshops, which I'm so excited about. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for it.
Awesome. Yeah, that brings
do we have set time left?
Well, I gotta keep track of.
I was calling you out the entire time. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just gotta keep track of the limit that the camera records.
Gotcha. Sorry. Yeah.
Although, to be perfectly honest, I didn't start my watch, so we're kind of flying blind right now. But I have
do this all over again?
No, I have a pretty good sense of like how long things take, so we'll also just see how it goes. But speaking of poetry workshops, you're up to something tomorrow in the Lewiston Auburn area.
It's not a workshop.
Okay.
It's for their annual art walk that they're starting monthly on the last Friday of each month. And I'll be one of their poets at their poetry portion of the art walk. So I'm really excited about that. So excited. It's I don't know when this is coming out.
It'll probably be too late. If you see this Friday morning, you know.
Well, you know what? Look up Allan Young. Look up Allan Young. Look up a newspaper article of him. I won't go into too much depth about his work, but please look him up.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. No.
I can send you a link to put in the description and everything.
Totally. Yeah, so I read you guys are just going to be, like, is he the one, are you going to be partnered with him, like on the street corner somewhere? Okay, cool. So have you done this before, or?
It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a while.
But you have done it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. So, do people just kind of, like, walk by and you're there kind of performing?
Yeah, or they stand there for a bit, and then walk off, or like, yeah.
That's super cool. How did you get involved with the LA Art Walk?
I got in contact with their art director, Adila. She's so wonderful. Got in contact with her as far as like her reaching out to a friend of mine about needing spoken word poets for the event, and having the opportunity to talk with her about her vision and her ideas for LA Art Gallery now that she has this position, and she wants as many people of color who are artists in the space as possible as well, and how that's really exciting.
Super cool. So other poetry workshops that you mentioned, though, do you have other things coming up that you want to share, or what else? What's on the horizon?
You can look at my website. Well, when I update it.
Okay.
When I get to the point of updating it properly.
Okay.
But no, as of all the current dates right now, everything's updated and wonderful things. But as far as workshops and things that's coming soon, Again, talk about website at some point.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll plug her website at the end and have the link in the description. So, yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit too about in terms of your writing process. I understand you've been writing since a pretty young age.
Mm-hmm.
When did you really start?
Like in spoken word poetry or writing in general?
I guess writing in general. Because I think you started slam poetry in college? Is that
I
true?
started. I took a course in it my junior year of high school.
Okay.
And then officially started competing since my freshman year of college. Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as writing in general, yeah, it's been a good minute. Yeah.
So what? How did you find yourself writing early on? Like what was it an outlet for? I guess when you started.
Yeah, like I primarily started from initially reading books. I still very much enjoy reading when I have the time, and then just delving into it as a form of I guess a form of like self-care, I guess, even though those weren't the words that I used at the time at such a young age. Like 8-year-old mind talking about, let's talk about self-care. And she hasn't studied social work and things yet, the younger me. But yeah, just using it just to still use the words I'm using now. A form of self-care, a form of expression, and as that time went along, especially delving into spoken word poetry, like becoming more louder and vocal and confident in the artistic process. And having conversations with my mom, she's like, "You're very loud," and I'm like, and she was like, "You used to be so quiet," and I'm like, "Is it because of all this pent up energy from like all the things written about and now spoken word poetry?" Is like, "Let it all out," and she's like, "Yeah, but you're still like really loud." But when it comes to like places that I work in, though, I tend to be quieter. But outside of them, I tend to be more obnoxious.
I don't think you're obnoxious.
Well, like the positive connotation of obnoxious. but thank you. Yeah.
What? I guess it's interesting. Like becoming more vocal. Like, why was that important to become louder?
This, especially in regards to sharing. Not just what was on the page, but also having a platform to share a lot of the things that I was going through as an opportunity for other folks to hear it, and as a form of healing for myself as well. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have some favorite poets?
Yes, I do. Sarah Kay. She's a spoken word poet. Look up her TED Talk, If I Should Have a Daughter. It's worth your watch. Tanaya Winder. She is an indigenous poet. Look up her books, Words Like Love, and Why Storms Are Named After People, and Bullets Remain Nameless. And I feel obligated to say Maya Angelou because she's my namesake. But no, at the same time, like her work is incredible, especially reading her work at a young age. I can list a lot of others too, but I know we're pressed for time. So I'll list those 3 for now.
It's all good. No, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. I think we'll all be well suited to explore some of those. So that's cool. You were able to just rattle them off. And so I know you studied English and social work as well in your undergrad, and then I guess chose to focus on it more in your graduate work. What drew you to that sphere of study?
Yeah, when I was okay, so earlier, this is my dominant hand. I realized why the mug is supposed to be right here, but like it was like struggling earlier. That might catch it later. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, so social work. So in high school, like my entire plan was to just go for the English degree, initially, and then my senior year of high school happened, and thinking a lot about how like, yeah, writing's cool, but like I want to work with people too and write, and I don't know how to do that. So freshman year of college, I went for psychology and English. And then I switched to sociology and English because it's like I just don't want to be in people's mind. I want to like be with people. And then I switched from sociology to social work because it's like, yeah, I want to work with people, but not from a distance. I want to work with them up close. So yeah, I was a dual degree student in social work and English, and I graduated on time. And yes, I feel that's very important to mention because like all 4 years of college, they're like, it's okay to take an extra year off. You don't need to put all this pressure on yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm getting it done. And then I got my master's soon after, like a year after being in UNI's advanced standing program. So, and I feel that's important for mentioning too.
And you're done.
Yes.
How does it feel?
It feels weird. My therapist told me that the word weird is a cop-out word for me, along with the word interesting. But at the same time, like, I don't have a lot of coursework to worry about. It's just also at the same time, I have career things to worry about and like student loan things to worry about. So it's like a mix as far as just this transitioning period.
Yeah. Karate chop. That'll be how we end the last episode of the Convo. Just chop this table in half.
Oh my god.
This is my mom's table too.
Well, tell your mom I say hi.
I will.
Yeah.
She'll be watching for sure. Actually,
Yay!
yeah, I'm pretty sure she watches most episodes. Yeah, I want to make sure that, you know, we can end this on like a proper note and everything. So, yeah, I want to thank you again for being here, for being a part of this. Maya's website is mayawilliamspoet.com, and she is on Instagram and Twitter at mdub16. It's spelled EMMDUBB16. The links will be in the description, but that's just so you know. Final words? Thoughts? Reactions?
I just appreciate you. And also in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, are you really going to put them in the description? No.
Yeah.
Because there are some videos that don't have them.
Well, so like... I'm sorry, Evan didn't have a website. I'm sorry, Evan. There's no description, there's no links.
No worries.
There's no link, but like Naomi's Instagram is in the description of her video.
Great.
I promise they'll be there. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Evan.
You're welcome.
Yeah.